WITN, you can all just let me know if you're ready. I don't know if we have a quorum yet.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. I know there were a few members who couldn't make it, so that's why I just wanted to double check. Uh, second.
Mr. Chair, you can begin when you're ready.
Okay, bear with me. All right. Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the June Finance and Economic Development meeting to order. I'm the chairman, Chris Johnson from the 7th District. I'd like to do a roll call for members in attendance. Vice Chair Harley, 4th District.
Present.
Nathan Field, 8th District.
Present.
At-large Councilmember Spadola.
Present.
Council President Congo.
Here.
All right, and I believe Council Member Oliver and Council Member Walsh are excused this evening. So I believe we do have a quorum. All right, and we are set to proceed. So we do have a few items on the agenda for this evening. I know in the past month, we've had quite a few of the finance meetings. So we went through a lot of matters there. But we obviously do have some pressing matters that we continue to need to address with the city as we head into the summer. So I believe there is a slight change to agenda. Ordinance 2124, I've been told, is being held by a sponsor. I just want to confirm that. I believe we have Councilmember Darby in attendance as well, and I want to recognize her.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, it will be held.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Councilmember Darby. And I also have Councilmember McCoy. She's in attendance as well. I'd like to recognize her. All right. So let me get back to the agenda. All right. So I believe the next item then is an ordinance to amend Chapter 2, 39, and 40 of the City Code relating to the city physician to include the possibility of hiring an advanced practice registered nurse, APRN, to fill the position of the city doctor. And this ordinance, again, in short, is an adjustment to our code to, from my understanding, to give more flexibility to the city in terms of who can actually fill this role. Is there anyone from the administration here to speak on this item?
I am here, Councilmember Johnson. This is Director Charlotte Barnes. I also have Bruno Battaglia with me. He's our Occupational Health and Safety Program Manager. As you provided for in your synopsis, this is amending the city code, which all the language in the city code says city physician. And in saying city physician, the requirements for the city physician was that they have an MD, they be a medical doctor. I've been with the department for 7 years, and this is the second time we've put this put an RFP out. The last time we did not get, everybody was either a vendor, but no one was a private sector, a private industry doctor. And that's because the industry is moving away from that. So we did at that time retain the city physician, but he's now retiring. And so this gives us some flexibility. And when I say flexibility, I do not mean that we are diminishing the quality of service that will be provided or has been provided for the last several months to our employees. But we wanted to have some flexibility in changing from city physician to city medical provider. We did this in concert with the law department, and we did it in concert with making sure that the individual or individuals that we would have would be qualified. And an advanced nurse practitioner is one that has the ability to have their own medical practice independent of a physician. So, they can issue prescriptions, they can do, pretty much most things that a doctor can do. And so we changed it to city medical provider. And that's what you have here. In every section of the code where it required the city provider, city physician, we changed that to city medical provider.
Director Barnes, thank you very much for that rundown. And I did notice that there is no fiscal impact. So I imagine there's not an increased cost by doing this amendment.
There is no increased cost, sir.
Yeah. Will there be a savings of some sort possibly?
There may be. There may be. There may be.
Okay. And before I turn to further administration, I do want to recognize we have Councilmember Brigida Fields from the 5th District in attendance as well. Now, is there any other insight? Let's see, we have HR, Bruno from HR. Is there anything else that you have to add on this matter, or are you speaking?
No, Chris, I think the director said everything straight. There is a significant savings realized with the one that was chosen. That wasn't across the board. Obviously, the other two were significant increases. On one was a very significant increase. If we went to an outside vendor, because they've almost got a monopoly, it would have almost been 150% of what we were paying before.
Okay. All right.
And so let me be very clear, Council Member Johnson. I was not being coy when I said could be a decrease. I do not presume that what we have before you will be approved. So when I said could be, that was the basis of saying could be.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else on this matter?
I have nothing, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. And also I'd like to recognize Councilmember Oliver. She is in attendance, and we also, let me just scan, Vice Chair Harley. You have a question or comment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Director Barnes, I noticed in the ordinance, it says to include the possibility of hiring an advanced or a PRN. So what is that predicated upon as it relates to that word possibility?
Because if we left it only as the city physician, we would have been held to hiring a MD. However, in broadening the definition, it opens up the possibility of having someone other than an MD. So that's that language, that's the flexibility that it's giving us.
Okay. All right. That's my only question I had. Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns from members of council? All right. With that, I would like to turn it to members of the public for any questions or comments. Going once, going twice. And now just turning back to council if there's any other comments or questions. Okay. Seeing none, since this is an ordinance to amend the code, it does need to be voted out of committee. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to vote ordinance 2133 out of committee for a full council vote.
Yes, I make a motion to move ordinance 21-33 out of committee to be voted on by the full council on what date is that going to be? Remember?
June 17th.
Okay, to be voted on June 17th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to move ordinance 21-33 out of committee for a full council vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Ordinance 21-33 regarding the city physician will move to the full council agenda for a full vote on June 17th. Thank you very much, everyone. All right. Moving on through the agenda, we have one more ordinance. We have an additional ordinance. This is an ordinance. Let me get the actual number. Just bear with me. This ordinance is 21-34. This is the ordinance to authorize and approve an agreement between the city of Wilmington and Jackie Lindo, who's an APRN for medical services. And the fiscal impact of this particular contract is where the approximate price for initial 2-year term of $99,000 with the possibility of 3 1-year extensions for a potential 5% increase. And again, this is in the extension term, there would be a potential increase. Is there anyone from the administration here to speak on this specific item and if it relates to the prior item that we just discussed?
I will, Mr. Chair.
Floor is yours, Director Barnes.
The Department of Human Resources is before you requesting support for this ordinance to extend a contract to Jackie Jo Lindo to be the medical provider for the medical dispensary. As alluded to in my previous, when we discussed the previous ordinance, the city physician did notify us with his intent to retire, and we did an RFP seeking a replacement. We did get 3 respondents, and a panel was ensued to review the respondents and to rank the proposals. And the proposals were ranked on familiarity with city government, experience in occupational health and safety, cost, DBE, and experience and qualifications. And this provider that we're coming before you ranked the highest for this professional services agreement. And so we're submitting this 2-year agreement before you. It's 2 years with the opportunity for 3 1-year extensions. And as is provided, there's the possibility of a 5% increase in the out years. As Mr. Battaglia alluded to, this amount is less than what we were paying our previous medical provider. And the other 2 respondents that did bid, one of them was at $195,000, and one of them was at $130,000. So in this one, we do not believe that we have sacrificed any quality as it relates to the services being provided to our employees. Ms. Lindo had been filling in for Dr. Shinioki periodically. And so there was a familiarity with city government and its operations. So I requestfully respect council's support.
Now, thank you very much for the coverage, Director Barnes. And I guess the first question that pops out is Dr. Sinoki. I know he served as a city physician for what, over 10 years? It was a long time.
25 years.
More like 25 years.
Okay.
More like
so,
25 years.
I know he's been a long time mainstay with the city. And I guess kind of following up on that is, I know Dr. Sunoki, was well known, and he was a minority. Now, is Miss Lindo, is she a minority contractor?
She is a minority Black female.
Miss Lindo does satisfy DBE. She is an African-American female. Well, she is a Black female. I'm not gonna say she's African-American.
Okay.
She's a Black female.
But okay. I just figured I'd ask that question. I wasn't particularly sure. And I know Dr. Sunoki again is well known and it's big shoes to fill. So I want to make sure we're at least considering minorities for that contract. That
Charlotte, if I could add a few things.
Yeah.
Chris, if I could add a few things, just that Dr. Sunoki highly recommended Jackie Jo. In fact, he came to me specifically and said that she would be an asset to our team. She has worked with us. We have gotten numerous compliments about, her care of her patients and all. So.
Okay, thank you.
So I would also add this, Councilmember Johnson, I would also add this, that during Dr. Sunoki's tenure, when there were times when he needed to be away for an extended period of time, he often had different individuals, pursuant to his contract, he had individuals fill in for him. And not only did Miss Jackie Jo Lindo fill in for him, but others filled in for him as well. And they others submitted proposals. Others who filled in for him submitted proposals as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. Vice Chair Harley, did you have a question or comment? Saw your hand raised.
I lowered my hand. I've seen the answer in the legislation, so thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions by members of the council? Okay. Now I'd like to turn it to members of the public if there's any questions or comments from members of the public. All right, seeing none, turn it back to council for any last question or comments on this ordinance. All right, seeing none, at this time, since this is an ordinance, it must be voted out of committee for a full council vote. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to move ordinance I believe it's 21-34 out of committee to a full council vote.
Yes, I make a motion to move ordinance 21-034 out of committee to the full council to be voted on June 17th.
All right, thank you.
Second.
It's been first and seconded to move ordinance 21-34 out of committee for a full council vote. At this time, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the ayes have it, and ordinance 2134 will move to the full city council for a vote on June 17, 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and at this time, those were only two legislative matters on the agenda. I do have a space reserved for a general update on the city's American Rescue Plan Act funds. This is again this is going to be a recurring theme every time we either have a regular finance committee meeting or we have a special finance committee meeting. I know we just had a meeting 2 weeks ago on the ARPA funds. So so going forward, we'll be again doing this on a regular basis to inform the public about what's going on. And I don't know if anyone from the administration is on, but I did receive an update this afternoon that, in fact, the city has not received the ARPA funds yet. I'm not sure where the wire is in terms of being transferred, but I just know council did vote on the resolution. It was voted and passed, I guess last Thursday. So it's a matter of, I guess, housekeeping. The city should hopefully receive the funds any time now, and then we can work swiftly to getting this process implemented I believe the administration is in the works of building a website. I believe they already have an email address for ARPA fund ideas, but there will be a full website tracking through open government what the spending is, what the proposed projects are, and so forth and so on. So at this time, I believe that's the only update I have for the public at this point in this regard. I don't believe there's anyone from the administration for update. So I think at this point, as we move forward, we'll distribute updates periodically on this matter. Is there any questions or comments from members of council on ARPA? Councilmember Darby?
Yes, I have a question. Will we be able to, so I know that there was an email that went out stating that the mayor administration has an email address for people to submit ideas. Will council have access to that information to know what the community is asking for?
I know from my perspective, I can't say yes or no. I mean, I think the intent is to share it with us as the administration has agreed to have us at the table. So I imagine, I don't know how that's going to take place, whether it'll be one email blast per week or whether we'll have separate meetings. But I know that is the intent to keep us abreast of what's being asked as we're going to be engaged in this process. Okay. Any other questions, Councilmember Darby?
No other questions.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Harley?
Oh, yes, Mr. Chair. I do think that, one, as you said, I know that the plan is for us to be at the table, but I hope that we can make a request that as these requests come in, that they should automatically be emailed over to our chief of staff. So I'm imagining that there's going to be at least one person manning that email account. And so I just feel as though that would just be the easiest thing for us to do, is just ask respectfully that as these emails come in, just forward them right on over to our chief of staff.
Mm-hmm. And that's something we will note. I know our chief of staff will note that. I mean, because we have to get a process started, Vice Chair Harley, and I agree. I don't know what that process looks like. You know, we're only kind of a few days into it, but that's a great idea. So we'll definitely follow up on that.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. All right. Any other questions or comments on specifically ARPA from members of council? All right. And again, this is just me, this is a quick update. I wish I had more for everyone. I wish, we had the funds in hand and we could talk about spending projects, but I guess it's stopped up somewhere in the pipeline of trying to actually get the money from the federal government, which I guess is never easy. So I think we'll just hold fast, and we will call an additional special meeting, meetings throughout the summer, and we'll have other kind of forums to talk about this issue. So I think right now we're just in a point where we have to get the kind of legalities done, mainly the resolution and making sure the treasurer's office gets the funds and everything like that, so we can get the approximately $29 million that we're going to get in the first batch. So now everyone's asking about it. Everyone's very patient. We just ask for a little more patience as we receive the money from the federal government, and then we will talk about how these projects are going to get out to the communities. And there's also been questions about the PowerPoints that were circulated by Finance Department. I believe we have distributed that to council now, and that is available. We'll make it available to the public as well, so you can see what census tracts specifically for neighborhoods will be most affected by these funds. So there's a lot of stuff we're going to lay out just so the public can stay informed, because this help is supposed to be targeted to certain neighborhoods and bringing up the neighborhoods that really need the most work. So that's really the only update I have at this point. So if there's nothing further by members of the committee, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been first and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, well, thanks everyone. I know it was a quick meeting compared to one's last month, but again, best believe there's gonna be a lot of other meetings coming up this summer, which we're gonna get into the topic of how these funds are spent. So everyone just please hold on and we'll keep everyone informed. So thank you
Yeah,
for being
I like short meetings. So thank you.
Thank you for being engaged, everyone.
Yes. All right.
Everyone have
Thank you. Have a good
wonderful
evening. Bye.
Bye-bye.